In life, no matter how skilled or talented we may be, there will inevitably be moments where we falter, where we make mistakes. And in those moments, a common reaction is to turn inward with harsh self-judgment, perhaps even self-hatred. This reaction can lead us down a dark road, filled with depression, anxiety, and sometimes, tragically, even suicide. But if we pause to think about it, how often do we extend kindness to ourselves in these moments of weakness? We're quick to say, "I love you," to friends, family, and partners. But how often do we look in the mirror and say, "I love myself, flaws and all"? In the Buddhist philosophy, the concept of loving kindness begins from within. The Buddha taught that to truly extend love and compassion to others, one must first learn to embrace themselves with the same warmth and understanding. Without this foundation of self-love, kindness towards others becomes hollow, lacking the genuine empathy and compassion that make human connections meaningful. This is why it's essential to cultivate a practice of self-love and self-kindness, not out of selfishness, but because it allows us to be whole, which is necessary if we are to share that wholeness with others. But how can we begin to love ourselves? Let's explore a few core principles that can help us shift from self-criticism to self-compassion. 1. Rejecting labels. It's human nature to define ourselves by labels. Our name, for instance, is a label given to us at birth, one that shapes how the world interacts with us. But beyond names, we also give ourselves labels based on our perceived flaws. Think about how often you might say, "I'm just lazy," or "I'm always anxious," or "I'm bad at socializing." These labels stick, becoming part of our identity, and over time, we start to believe that they define us. But here's the truth. Labels are just thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. When we label ourselves negatively, we confine ourselves to a limited version of who we are. A single mistake doesn't define your entire character, nor does one flaw sum up your worth as a person. For example, just because you struggle with anger sometimes doesn't mean you're an angry person by nature. Anger is an emotion that passes, not a permanent state of being. We all have the capacity to change and grow, but first, we must stop believing the labels we place on ourselves. 2. Embrace mistakes as opportunities. Mistakes are inevitable in life, but they are not the enemy. In fact, mistakes are the best evidence that we're trying, that we're stepping out of our comfort zones and striving to do better. Every successful person has encountered failure. What sets them apart is how they learn from their mistakes and use them as stepping stones to achieve greatness. One inspiring example is Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Imagine if Edison had labeled himself a failure after his early setbacks. Where would we be without the light bulb today? Mistakes are proof that you are making an effort, and they only define you if you let them. So instead of seeing mistakes as reflections of your inadequacy, see them as valuable lessons that shape your growth. 3. Stop criticism, start compassion. We live in a world where criticism, of others and of ourselves, has become a default reaction. While constructive criticism can help us improve, negative criticism only serves to tear us down. The problem with this kind of criticism is that it creates unrealistic standards. Each time you criticize someone, or even yourself, you're sending a message that you should be better or perfect. But perfection is an illusion. When we set these high, often unattainable standards for ourselves, we inevitably fall short, which leads to feelings of inadequacy. This cycle of criticism and failure erodes self-esteem and prevents us from appreciating our unique qualities. The next time you catch yourself being overly critical, pause. Instead, ask, how can I be kinder to myself? By replacing criticism with compassion, you'll notice a significant shift in your mindset, one that fosters growth rather than hinders it. 4. Celebrate imperfection. If you look at nature, nothing is perfect. Every tree, every mountain, every flower has its own unique imperfections, and yet they are all breathtakingly beautiful. In the same way, humans are inherently imperfect, and that's what makes us beautifully complex. Our imperfections are not roadblocks, they are opportunities. Without them, we would have nothing to improve upon, no reason to strive for better. In the process of pursuing personal growth, we must recognize that success is not a destination. It's a journey. Each day is a chance to become a better version of ourselves, not a perfect one, but a better one. Take a moment to breathe and reflect on your imperfections. These quirks and flaws are what make you, you. Embracing them allows you to focus on your strengths and, more importantly, to enjoy the process of becoming. After all, life is not about reaching perfection. It's about learning, growing, and evolving. 5. Daily practice of self-love. Self-love is not something that happens overnight. It's a practice, something you must work on daily. A simple yet powerful habit you can start is to wake up each morning and remind yourself, no matter how imperfect I am, I will not give up on myself. I will continue to improve, to learn, and to grow. This daily affirmation isn't about selfishness. In fact, selfishness often stems from expecting too much from yourself, setting unrealistically high standards, and then punishing yourself when you can't meet them. True self-love, on the other hand, is about accepting yourself as you are while also committing to becoming the best version of yourself. For example, if you've been struggling with a personal goal, like sticking to an exercise routine or completing a project, approach yourself with kindness. Instead of saying, "I'm a failure for not finishing this," say, "I am proud of the effort I've made, and I'll keep moving forward." This subtle shift in mindset can have a profound impact on your motivation and self-worth. The journey to self-love. Self-love isn't just a catchy phrase or a feel-good mantra. It's a necessity for a happy and fulfilled life. Without it, we fall into cycles of self-doubt, self-criticism, and negative thinking. But with self-love, we give ourselves the permission to grow, to fail, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. As we move through life, it's important to remember that love and kindness begin with us. Just as the Buddha taught, we cannot truly give to others what we do not possess ourselves. By rejecting harmful labels, embracing our mistakes, stopping criticism, and celebrating imperfection, we open ourselves to the beauty of self-compassion. Every day is an opportunity to love yourself a little more, to appreciate the journey rather than the destination. So, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am enough, just as I am, and I will continue to grow, evolve, and thrive. The practice of self-love will transform not only how you see yourself, but how you engage with the world. It's time to embrace it. Your journey begins now.